What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good night. It's late at night here, but tonight we're going to be taking out a control arm. I'm going to be showing you how. Now, in this video, I've taken this control arm out, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. I'm not actually going to be struggling through it in this one. I'll do another video where I do that, but first off, you're going to take your wheel off. So I have another video where I jack your car, how to take the wheel off. You just take it off, set it, under the car. Put the car on jack stands. Then you're gonna grab your tools. So I usually throw the wheel just like that. And let's just show you the tools we're working with. So realistically, you're gonna need something to take care of the rust, especially if you're on an O2 like I am. Then what you're gonna need is a 15mm wrench, a 17mm wrench, and a 19mm wrench. Now I do also have sockets for that, and you might want to have some sockets as well. Throw on a ratchet. And here's another one. So these deep sockets are technically impact sockets, but I like to use these too. So that's a 17, that's what I used on the bottom. And I'll show you where you're gonna be using all these. So once you get the wheel off, you're gonna come back here behind the wheel, right behind it. And you're gonna see up here is your shock, right? Comes down, there's two bolts there that connect it to the brake disc. And then this black piece down here is your control arm right here. So if you look to the front of the car, there will be this connection point here. And typically, you're gonna have your bolt sticking straight up from the bottom up through there. That's one of the 19mm. That's your first one, so break that loose. Realistically, that one's super easy to break loose because you can just get a breaker bar under here and break that loose. So I would have a 1/2" drive breaker bar with a 1/2" 19mm socket for that one. Then you're gonna go to the other side and you come behind, and you're gonna see. So let me show you again. There's the brake. Again, there's the shock coming down. You see this black piece connected here with the little green tag on it, right there. That's your axle, right? Right where that hook is, that's your second 19mm bolt going across that way. Now that one's gonna be a pain to get out compared to the first one I showed you, because this one you have to access from the side over here. Best way to do that, let's see, I'll grab a wrench and show you how I did that. So I took my 19mm, faced it this way, put that on. Now the weird thing is there's a little metal bar here, so your wrench stops right about here, which is extremely annoying. So what you're gonna wanna do is bring it up as high as it can, and then attach another wrench onto the end of it for extra grip. So you can tell there's a little rust in there. It's probably from me putting that second wrench in there for extra leverage. Now, I will say something else that'll be here is you'll have your stabilizer link. That'll be through your control arm right through there. And then it goes through your sway bar here. So it looks like that. That's your 15mm. And my lower control arms came with new sway bar links, so if those are too tough for you when they're on here, I mean, if you have new ones, you could cut it. I've seen that in a video. But realistically, you can break this first one pretty simply. This one's harder to access because it's actually going to be on the back side. The bolt's going to be back there. And it's going to be harder, so I would suggest breaking this one, taking it completely off, pushing it out, pulling this whole piece up out of the way with the link still attached, then removing the two 19mm I showed you, and there's one final bolt here. And this one's going to be a little difficult for me to get the camera on, so bear with me here, but I'm going to lower the camera down. And so what we're doing is we are coming underneath the brake. It's going to be right here. The light might be a bit bright. So there's the bottom. This is it right here. There's what's going to be called a, what are those things called? Why are they escaping me? Basically it's a little pin. And I had it sitting on here, but of course, now the video's going. It's going to be hard for me to find it. There's basically a little pin that goes through this nut, and you just need a pair of pliers, pull it out. And then this is your 17mm, and you're going to loosen that. And I will do that on video because this is actually tight. So just put your wrench up on there. And remember, you're always going counterclockwise to loosen it, which is extremely hard when you're on the opposite side for me to think about where that is. Okay, sorry. I don't know why my mind was thinking backwards there for a second. And so it is a 17. I know it doesn't look like it right there, but there we go. Sorry, I was trying to do it looking through the camera, and I don't know why, but I was not able to even line the wrench up. Okay, so you just do that. I mean, it's pretty loose already, I can tell. Like I said, this was already taken off. This is the old one. I had to put it back in because I am replacing that entire ball joint. And to replace that, I actually need to take this full brake off. And to do that, you need to take your axle nut out. And I hadn't loosened it before I took the control arm out, so I put it back together. So I was like, yeah, might as well make the video. So you get that 17 off pretty easy. Then what you're really going to need to do is beat this with a hammer. You can see the marks here because it's going to be stuck on this bolt, which is your ball joint, but it's going to be stuck on there. And yeah, don't be afraid to beat the living crap out of it. And I do truly mean that. All right, so let's go back over. We're going to go back over to the 19mm that is in the back here. Move the light real quick. And sway bar is kind of hiding it. There we go. All right. So we're going to go back to this one now. You can access it from below, in between the frame and the lower control arm. Oh, I still have the 17 in my hand. So don't be an idiot. Switch back to your 19. But there's not a lot of wiggle room down there, as you can tell. So that's probably going to be where you want to put your ratchet when you get that a little bit looser. For now, stick to accessing it up here. just gonna work it, which I don't really need to do because I think honestly it's loose enough to just get it out by hand. But maybe not. It's kind of hard for me to grab it because I have the camera literally right in my arm's reach, but. And as I said before. Okay. I gotta set this light up. Sorry. There we go. Trying to do this one-handed with a camera right in the way is a new challenge, which I hadn't prepared for, to be 100% honest. So, anyways, I got it loose by hand, and eventually you're just going to be sitting there spinning it, so you actually got to just pull that bolt out. It's going to be a little tough, but just keep pulling it. You'll get the full bolt out. You can tell it's pretty rusted. Set that aside. And so you got that one out. You've taken the two 15 millimeters off the sway bar link, right? You took the 17 millimeter off the ball joint down below. And you've taken the other 19 millimeter off the front here. You're good to go. It is now hypothetically set to come out. Now, that is a big hypothetical, I'm gonna warn you. So I'm gonna just set the camera here. And I'm gonna grab my mallet. And I would suggest having a legit like sledgehammer mallet. But because I have taken this out before, whoops, sorry. Because I have taken this out before, I think I'm gonna be able to do it with a rubber mallet, so. Let's see. So something else you might want to do, take a wrench and pry it out. Now, this side's actually looking pretty good, but the other side, I'm gonna pry out just a little bit. That looks good. Look at that. So that's coming out pretty nicely. And just keep working it with the mallet. There we go. Alright, so this is gonna happen sometimes. And what's going on right now is it's loose on both sides. But like I was telling you, that ball joint wants to hold on down there. And the crazy thing is, I just put this back in, and you can already see how it's hanging on to that control arm. So, realistically, like I said, I'd use a actual mallet, and I apologize. The angles are very difficult for me with this camera and this light. So keep working it. I'm not sure quite what you guys are going to be able to see from there, but I need to be able to get. There we go. So hopefully you kind of saw what was going on there when I'm hitting it, but so that just fell out. Now that's the hole it came out. The goal is to be hitting it right here and on the face here, because that rust just builds up around here and holds that bolt in really tight. So there you have it. You have officially gotten your lower control arm out on your Civic, and you're now ready to replace it with a new one. So once again, man, that light is just terrible unless it's truly behind the camera. So there you have it. That's why it's getting replaced. That one there. And that one there. Looking pretty rusted out and old. So we'll set that aside and trash it. And that's it. To put it back in, repeat the process. Put your two 19s in. 17 on the bottom. Then your sway bar links. I'm going to be taking this whole piece out to redo the ball joint. So if you want to see that, I'll do another video on how to do that. So thanks for watching, guys.